Welcome to another episode of The Profile. I'm Gary Dunn. 102 episodes. We've had musicians of all kinds, singers, bass players, keyboard players, sax players. We've had drummers. We've never had a technician. So tonight joining us, one of Perth's all-time greats, Mr. Bob De Wolff. How are you, Bob?
Gary. I'm well, Gary. I'm here.
Excellent. Did you like that intro?
I did, mate. That was special.
Good on you, mate. The previous four I did weren't good, were they?
Nah, look, take four. It's all good.
Bob, where were you born?
Right here in Perth, mate. Subiaco, King Edward Memorial Hospital.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And do you play an instrument?
No, I wanted to once. I tried to learn drums once, and I got lessons from a guy I shared a house with, John Tillett.
John
Tillett, legend drummer.
Yeah,
Chrome double bass drum, slinger land kit, nice.
Yeah.
But it was too hard. He wanted me to do paradiddles and learn left, right. I wanted to play drums.
Oh, right.
I didn't want to do and then do it backwards.
So you would probably know all sorts. I mean, you said slinger land, double chrome, bass drum. You would probably know just about every.
There you go. Yeah,
instrument.
Sonor kits have always been great. Yamaha, you learn these things along the way. Yeah, for sure.
So what was the turning point in your life that made you become a technician, if you like?
Well, that's pretty straightforward. I had a friend who was a keyboard player, and I was crayfishing in Dongara at the time, and I came down in the off season, and my friend was jamming with his friends in the house.
Who was that?
Claude Woodward.
Oh, Visitor.
Visitor.
Yeah,
with
Claude.
Bill Atkinson, John Walton, John Tillett, all these guys. And they were jamming in their house in Subiaco. And through a mutual friend, I met these guys and went, wow, they're playing Emerson, Lake and Palmer songs. They're playing Yes songs. Like, this is amazing. This is stuff I'd been into as a prog rock guy. And they were really good.
And Floyd, of course.
Obviously doing Floyd. And that was graphic in the early days, and then they morphed into Visitor.
Yeah.
And then they rebuilt graphic at the end of Visitor and taught me how to mix front of house with Bill Atkinson, and we went to Geraldton and lived up there for 6 months and played while I learnt to mix. Yeah.
So that was 1977. Yep. So you were a punter at the pubs, really. Yeah.
Very much so.
So what did you like about bands?
Live
what was
music.
the attraction?
It was live. It was big, and it was everything I liked. Yeah. And it was like, these guys are good, I went and saw Kevin Borich Express at the White Sands, and I couldn't hear for a day afterwards and thought that was just awesome. That just blew me into the weeds. And
Beg your pardon?
Yeah, sorry. There was that ringing. I got in my car and it was running, and I'm still hitting the ignition because I couldn't hear it.
Do you ever suffer from tinnitus?
Yes, constantly.
Yeah. Wow.
I have done for many years.
Learning to live with it?
Yeah. Had acupuncture, all sorts of things to try and help it, but
my wife, same. She's been living with it for a couple of years.
I had it accentuated a few times. I had a band in Sydney once, and this singer was going, there's no fallback, and I ran out the front stupidly and put my head between the wedges. While he went, ah! And I went, oh, fuck. Back to the monitor desk and went, they are working, and constant tinnitus from then on. So there you go,
So as a musician, we've worked together plenty of times as well. I mean, we couldn't do it without the sound guy, without the lighting guy.
Yeah, most definitely.
And it's a pleasure to have you here to get your side of the story. 1978, you first started working for a band.
Yep.
What band was that?
Which was Visitor.
It was Visitor?
Claude had joined Visitor by that stage, and they were on the road with a PA, a manager, a crew, and I just went, wow, this isn't like work. So I went to Bunbury to drive Claude down there one day to the bustle, and I walked in there, and the manager, whom I'd met before, Brian Dentis, was actually loading gear. And I went, I thought you were the manager. And he went, I am. And I went, our fallback guys quit. And he said, do you want a job? And I went, yeah. And it was with Mick Andisich, was the front of house guy. Gary Hodson was a lighting guy.
Oh, wow. I have to ring the bell.
Yeah, ring the bell on those guys, because
they're popular guys.
They were my guys, and I learnt so much from them. They'd already been on the road a while, and, we had a double four-way. We just got W bins, and 4560s and a horn.
And what about the little bullet?
And the rings, the
one,
JBL
that
rings.
Was a one.
We had two in one box.
Yeah.
I had to have them when we went four-way. Big deal. Went stereo.
Yeah.
Look, it was great. We had that PA. It was Visitor's PA, and it kept working, and we did, and Tommy Harron, Andy Wong Yen, Steve Manasseh, Tony Cooper.
Andy played guitar, didn't he?
He certainly did. He had.
I remember seeing him at the City Hotel.
Yeah, had the first Roland guitar synth from Zenith.
He had the second one.
The second one. Did you have the first one?
Yeah, I worked for Roland.
There you go.
Anyway, that's a good point. You work with the riffs.
Yes, well,
doing
yes.
foldback. Or in those days, we called it monitors, didn't we?
Yeah, sure.
Who's doing monitors?
Yeah.
De Wolff.
There was me and Chris White. I think were the only
Oh.
two
Whiting.
monitor guys
What a
in
legend.
town,
What a
because no
legend.
one else had mixed foldback on their pub gigs. I mean,
Yes.
we had a little 8-channel M&M mixer, and out front we had a Yamaha PM700, and so we had mixed mono, 4 cents of foldback. That was settled
So
out.
this is, normally I would ask, what's your favourite band or this, but what's your favourite mixer?
As in the person.
No, what's your
The
favourite?
desk.
Your desk.
Yeah,
Desk.
Look, Midas consoles in
Midas.
the analogue facilities, I can't go past them. They're like driving a Rolls Royce.
Okay.
They're beautiful.
Yeah, cool. So from the riffs, you worked with Trilogy, Saracen.
Yeah, see,
all
again, the
those
same
big
PA,
bands. Yep.
right? But when either Saracen or Trilogy was off the road, we were out with the PA.
Oh, right.
Doing, so we did the straight jackets, with Lee Buddle and those guys with the horn section doing reggae and ska stuff. And, it was like, okay, that's a bit different again. And then we go out with Laser Blades, which was the helicopters.
Yeah.
D Board and those guys.
Yeah.
And they had a chick singer and they did glam stuff. But the band was great.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and who else?
They did a lot of original stuff
Definitely.
as well, helicopters.
Yes,
Yeah, they were
yes.
great. What's the
Kevin Rooney.
guy's name that was with the girl? I can't remember, but...
Dee Board was she's bass player, and they had a girl who strangely frizzled or something. I can't remember her name now. But they were great. They were a good band. We did other stuff. I did the Invaders for a while with John Worrell and Pecco and Jamie and Roy and Steve Gard.
Talking about Jamie,
Yes.
I see you wearing
my
your Dark Universe
t-shirt. Yep.
Awesome song. I mean, that
To mix that live
class.
for the first time was just astounding. It was, and we had 2 keyboard players.
And Don is such a fantastic.
And the Skelton family on stage, his wife and his Craig and his daughter, and it was just, it was.
Craig's a bit of a unit too, isn't he?
Mate, consummate professional, that man.
Yeah.
Wow, bass, keys, whatever.
He was on the phone this morning saying, "Give me a set list."
Yeah, see?
He has to have everything.
Disco Inferno, yes.
Yeah. So you join up with Flying Fonzarellis.
Ah, yes.
Who was on that crew?
Well, 84, 83, I was still doing Trilogy, and we'd done Saracen, we'd done the Eastern States tours with John Meyer and Pete Thompson and JR and with Ryder. Yeah. Right, we'd done all that. Came back, Meyer he wanted to go to Sydney, and so he did, and he did the Swanee thing, and he ended up doing all that, right? So we got Jamie. We started out with, what was his name? The guy from the Phantom, Denny Barnes.
Oh,
he was the first guitar player
Denny
in Trilogy.
Barnes. Wow.
Right, but he's a great player, but he wouldn't move. He'd stand on stage and great play, but stand in black in the dark. And my brother, who was lighting guy at the time, we're putting white tape stand here.
The Tony.
My brother Tony, He came on board Saracen just before the first tour we did East Coast. My brother came on board.
Was Tony your older brother? Or
Yeah, and with Ralph Berman, of course.
Smiley
Berman, yeah. He came across to Adelaide with the first Saracen run with Pete Thompson in his car. Ralph just came along and said, nothing to do, thought I'd go to Adelaide with the band, and we needed someone at the time, and picked him up to do monitors. And
cool.
He hung in there for a few years as one of the guys.
So 1981, you joined Jim Rossiter.
Well, see, again, the PA went out.
What band was that?
JR Band.
Oh, the JR
BANNED, right?
Yeah.
R-rated rock.
Yes.
Randy Early Morning Blues and a couple of other original stuff that used to go, whoa, hang on, Jim. But, did a lot of stuff, teaching myself again to mix. Go out with the PA, just do it.
Yeah.
And, So
did you get any special training or anything like that? You just...
No, you catch on. Like guys like John Villani and AJ...
Arthur.
Arthur. What a legend. I mean, we'd go to the Monday nights and do Manteca at the Old Melbourne, just because we could. We didn't get money for it.
No.
But we learned how to do shit, and how to do monitors. Wow, it's a whole different ball game. It's like, wow. And Arthur was on it all the time. And again, with Villani, doing supports for the Jets or whatever at the time, and he was always, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. And you go, oh, wow.
No, that's one thing that's really admirable is that camaraderie.
Definitely.
And, like today, like serotonin, for instance, and you know, they just want to work.
Yeah,
They don't,
exactly that.
You know, if they get money, they get money. If they
Yeah.
don't, they're happy
and
just to work.
we go back a long way too, you know.
Yeah.
And as far as lighting people goes, you know, great. Well, on the money, I worked with the entertainment centre back when Steve was the lighting guy, and
Yeah.
just never short of ideas.
Yeah.
And it was great.
So, in your opinion, I'm going to ask you a whole series of questions here, right?
Please.
So, in your opinion, this is local,
Mhm.
right? Perth. Best front house operator, and why?
Wow, there's a couple of good ones. Steve Cros was always good. He taught me a lot in the early days. Ben Galazza, we started to do Down Under with Maya and Warbo, Fozzie and Paul Reynolds, right? And I was doing
My
monitors
God,
on that.
you're just dropping more names than I can
Look,
keep up with.
And yeah, with Gus Warbo was a classic. Paul
Yep.
Reynolds, I learned a lot from those guys. Paul Reynolds was the first guy I ever saw do a bass solo.
Yeah.
You know, like stand there and just, wow, banging on that.
And such a wonderful guy as well.
And
Like,
so good, and such a good ear all the time, you know. You think, what's wrong with your fallback? There's a bit of 4K problem there, and a bit of 500 hertz, if you wouldn't mind. You're a muso, how are you supposed to
not like me, just turn it up.
turn it up, and that's got
Turn it
that
up.
squeaky thing in there. Yeah, get rid of that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, Down Under was great. I learned a lot from Ben. Ricky
Yeah.
Turner was doing lights. Again,
Another great
Another
legend.
great
Yeah.
crew guy to learn from. Just how to do things.
yeah.
You know, I was still a bit green, and
Yep.
you know, I knew it, and so I was ready. And this was a job. This was you get money for this.
yeah.
Not like crayfishing, 7 days a week.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it's like 10 hours a day, just pulling pots and getting good money. But this was fun.
It's a different kind of
It
pot
is.
in rock and roll.
There's
isn't
always
it?
pulling pots, isn't there, right? Yeah.
Your best lighting person.
Look, I can't go past my brother. He had an unnatural timing of thing, and he had pin spots, and he'd just get the vibe of the band to get that groove going, and he had things changed.
Yeah.
Way before his time, with a 12-channel desk and 16 lights, you know, you could do that. Gary Hodson, again, originally visitor of Saracen lighting guy, Ricky Turner, Graham Piper, guys like that, and Sarah, you know, just knew how to make it look good.
Yeah.
And it's an art to it.
Yep, for
So-
sure. So your best venue and why?
Oh, God, best venue. There's been some good ones. I used to like the Generator because it was geared to go. Right, the stage was dead. It was full of concrete. Villani designed that, you know, carpet and concrete. The room was perfect for putting a PA in, for putting stuff where you needed it. But my spiritual home was the City Hotel.
Yeah.
Visitor, Saracen,
Yes.
Trilogy, Down Under, everybody.
Wasn't it uncanny with that bar and
Yeah,
you
in the
know,
middle,
and
it
the
took up-
people down this side,
yeah.
people you
Yeah.
know, like
Got some crowds
fantastic.
in there, mate. The US sailors,
Yeah.
you know, God, when they were in town, you'd get 200 of them in there, plus the locals. And they love Saracen.
Hello, sailor.
Oh, lots of Yanks, man.
Best front man.
Ooh, local frontmen. Most entertaining. Guys like Mike, Riffs, what was his name?
Mike. Mick O'Hara.
Mick O'Hara.
Yeah.
Always entertaining, everywhere, all over the shop, you know, energy to burn, frontmen. There have been a few. Oh, wow.
It's okay, you don't have to mention.
Yeah,
You're
no.
going to not mention someone and you're going to think
I
later.
know.
and
I'm going to think of it
Why
later
didn't
and
I
go,
say him?
See, Ty Coates, what a singer.
Yeah.
You know, when I was doing Flash Harry in 85, like, he just blew me away. He was like Steve Perry. He was like this voice that just kept coming.
Yeah.
Great.
Best singer.
Again, yeah, look, that'd have to be either Ty or Graham Smales or John Ryder. I
Yep.
mean, they had great range, power to burn, and never short of something to sing.
Best drummer, but you can't include Simo.
Oh, I wasn't.
Right.
I
Everyone
would've
apart
said it.
from
I would have
Simo.
said it. All right.
Yeah.
Look, the Tony Cooper being left-handed was like, to me, it was like, wow, sit inside a stage, watch him play. But he had amazing stuff going on. As
See
a
this
section.
little chicken and the piano there?
Oh yeah.
That all came about because of Tony Cooper.
Why is that?
Why is that, Mark?
One day I'll tell you.
He's going to tell me one day.
On your Coops. He's a
Yeah,
legend.
yeah.
What a great drummer.
Yeah, fantastic
And he
guy
went
too.
into Saracen and through, for whatever reason, he left. Right at the time we had an Adelaide run booked. And it was the first time we got flown to Adelaide. It was like, oh, look out, we're in an aeroplane. Mick and I flew over the day before, organised production. Tony Cooper's not coming. We haven't got a drummer. It's like John Meyer, John Ryder and Joe Cipriani filled in right at the last minute and had to learn a whole original set, which they didn't learn. But anyway, they got through the promo gigs that we had to do. Joe was a legend and it was fun.
It says here, we don't care about keys, but who was it?
Well, Claude was
Yeah.
back in the day, like you have 6 different keyboards in those days, having the Hammond organ and the Fender Rhodes and the
Yeah.
Mini Moog and
Yeah.
the, it was all
Everything. Yeah.
Rick Wakeman style.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was big.
Okay, best bass player.
Ooh. Yeah, JR has to rate up there
JR?
with the Rickenbacker.
Yeah.
That was a sound that I'd never heard in a bass guitar.
Yeah, yeah.
That was a clank instead
So,
of a
for
boom.
anyone who doesn't know who JR is, it's Johnny
John
Ryder.
Ryder. Look, there's been some other great bass players,
Yeah.
and I'd be remiss
Lots.
to.
It's
Lots.
just your best in your opinion.
Yeah,
that's all.
look, and
You
he
know,
was, again,
don't get upset, viewers.
Yeah, if I've left you out, I'm real sorry. This
Yeah.
guy, I mean, we're doing all original stuff,
Yeah.
and the arrangements were mostly his and John's,
Yeah.
and look.
Okay, I don't need to ask you about the best guitarist, so let's move on. No, your best guitarist?
Look, again, I can't go past John Meyer.
Yeah.
Never short of anything
Yeah.
to play. His solos used to just go on, and every night it'd be different.
Yeah.
Like just stand there and just by himself and entertain a whole room full of people.
Yeah. It was my pleasure to interview him.
I
It was a
bet.
highlight. Yeah.
And he's such a nice guy,
Yeah.
and we toured so much with Saracen. The Broome to Brisbane run was such a long run.
Yes.
All the way, the long way around.
yes.
And everything in between with Pete Thompson and with JR. So, I'd have to say John Meyer.
Best band?
Ooh, Trilogy got really good toward the end with Jamie and John and Peter Thompson.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Free-forming.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
There'd be a song, but there'd be so many bars in the middle that were never there before.
Yeah, yeah.
That sort of stuff.
The most entertaining act?
Oh, entertaining. That'd have to almost go to the Flying Fonzarellis,
Okay,
because
perfect.
that Alfred just cracked me up. I was doing monitors for those guys for about 8 months, and I used to just sit there, and it was the easiest fallback gig ever. But Alf was constantly entertaining and constantly cracking me up. It was almost like working with Phil Warbert.
Yes.
Like
Crazy.
everything was just a laugh.
Yeah.
You couldn't be serious. So.
Isn't that what's wonderful about
Yes,
it?
fantastic.
Yes.
And you can still
You
do the
always
thing,
laugh.
get it done,
Yes.
and get it done properly, entertain a crowd, pack it up and go home, and everyone's happy.
Yeah, you can drink, smoke.
Exactly.
You can laugh,
Oh.
cry,
With your friends.
Yeah.
This is a job.
and it's live music, and it's
Yeah,
moving you.
Exactly. And you get to mix it. And if you don't like how it sounds, you change it.
Yeah,
My
beautiful.
favourite songs, I've just mixed this.
Yeah.
Great.
Perfect. So you
Correct.
worked at the concert hall.
Yes.
So name some of the acts.
Well, in '86, I'd been doing a lot of stuff for Audex and just freelancing all over the place. And a guy I'd known for years, went to high school with, worked at Purposonic Sound. And they were looking for crew because the Pope was in town. And their whole factory was out at Belmont Racecourse
Yeah.
looking after the Pope.
Yeah.
So I was loose, and they said, okay, we can use you in the concert hall. I went, oh, that'd be all right. So I went and did that, and the first gig I did was wind up at the Johnny Young Talent School.
Okay.
Lots of tap dancers, little
Yes,
kids,
yeah.
and, it was like, oh, well, here we go.
What's the most memorable one act
Concert
you've
hall?
done at the concert hall? Yeah.
Lots of them.
Yeah.
Standing on stage with Rick Wakeman and Herbie Flowers. Sky was the gig. Tristan Fry, John Williams. And I'm doing monitors for him. And I'm doing the production and meeting, chatting with Rick Wakeman, who was a hero of mine, like from Yes and their early solo stuff and other stuff. We're doing sound for Billy Connolly. And
What a
chatting-
laugh.
Oh,
What a
God.
laugh.
In his pre-sober days,
Oh,
mate,
right, he
to
was-
chat with him. I want to talk to you in my room. Why? Let's have a laugh. Who are you? He's like, we use a different sound guy in every town. I'm gonna, so.
Yeah.
And Pam Ayres, the potted poet,
Yeah.
she was a cracker. She was doing her poetry whilst doing origami. What the hell? And Ben Elton, he was the most miserable man, but so funny on stage. The concert hall just turns stuff over all the time.
Yeah.
If you're doing the bodybuilders one week and Johnny Young the next week, and and then suddenly you do a concert, and it was just
Cool.
I was doing Robert Cray band, and
Oh, what a great player.
he brought his
What a
own
great
sound
man.
guy who had no idea of the gear we had. He spec'd it all according to my paperwork. Halfway through the first 2 songs, he's got compressors sucking everything out. And as soon as Robert Cray stepped back from the mic, there'd be feedback. He's yelling at me, going, "What's wrong?" And I'm going, "Well, can't you see?" Suddenly he found something wrong on stage and ran away. I mixed the rest of the show.
Yeah. He ran away
Yeah,
for a
he was
reason.
turned out he was a stage guy
Oh, right.
who was touring with him.
Wow.
and looked after everything, but had no idea. So anyway, stuff like that. Yeah, look, it was brilliant. And Marion Faithful, what a lovely lady. I thought she was someone, I didn't know who she was. I was tuning the PA, and she just walked up and sat about 2 seats up from me in the concert hall. I was like, I don't know who she is. But anyway, I kept doing it, and I said, hello, love, how are you? Oh, hello, I'm Marion. Oh, hey, how you going? Hello, yeah. And what a great show. She was so nice. That sort
Well,
of
what
stuff.
great memories for
Oh,
you.
fantastic, mate. And just, doing so much work in there. It was great. It was really good.
You also worked at the Entertainment Centre.
Yeah. From
Best concert you saw there?
Oh,
or?
look, we did lots of stuff there. What I did there was mostly in-house stuff. We did the basketball with the live band with Greg Shorts and those guys.
Oh, right, yeah.
And then turned into all recorded stuff and just ads. So you're sitting there just turning one disc, you're getting ads while the basketball was off. And then did a lot of in-house stuff, Oz concerts, where they just do 12 hours worth of like get on, do 3 minutes, get off. And it was all in. So yeah, they were fun. Pre-digital days, you had to do everything on the fly. So yeah, no, it was good fun, and worked with Rocky and Warren and Sarah, who was this in-house lighting person. So yeah, they were great. They were good. They were good. Enjoyed doing those. The best thing I ever saw there had to be Midnight Oil, because I was production manager on the Diesel and Dust tour using our gear and the Entertainment Centre.
Did they do the old Melbourne? No, that was years before.
No, the Diesel and Dust thing they did. The Entertainment Centre, I think 2 nights, and then went to Bunbury and did the rec centre down there with that whole.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Cool.
Which was great. It was stressful because you weren't mixing, and you're just responsible. So if someone had a whinge, you're it.
That's it.
And I did a few of those, and did the Angels Live Line tour, and by the end of it I was like, well, this is not very gratifying.
No.
I'm doing work for everyone else, but not really
enjoying it yourself.
No,
and that's what you're doing it for, isn't it?
Exactly. I was all doing sound, but it was a different sort of sound, and after a while I got a bit tired of doing that, so went back and picked up a cover band called The Reporters, and did a lot of work with those guys, and they went for years just doing little stuff. We did Bindoon every year, and you know, they were a great little band.
Who was in that band?
Well, Nerida Aitken was the singer. She did a lot of Divinal stuff, and did it really well. Michael Aitken, her partner at the time, was guitar player. Rob Pagnoni. Frank Frasina ended up playing drums in that band. Paul Foster, Fozzie Bear, played bass eventually. There was a few lineup changes.
Wow, Paul Foster, I haven't heard that name for a while.
Fozzie Bear, yeah. And they were great. They were good fun. There was low stress, and we did B&S nights out in the country, you know, and that sort of stuff. It was great. We had the good PA. We had the Pervasonic Turbo Sound PA, and so yeah, it was all good.
There's an entity called Support Act. And some people may not know what Support Act is, so maybe you could tell us.
Definitely tell you all about Support Act.
Please.
In 2011, I was out on my bike, as I am on motorcycle, and I got hit by a taxi from behind, and I didn't have any clue as to what happened. I was just riding, and then I wasn't, and I was being picked up by an ambulance. The next thing I knew, and I was in the middle of. I'd been working for John Starr for 7 years, doing all his tours, and just every week I was doing Glenn Shorrock one week, and Darryl Braithwaite the next, and Russell Morris, and the Mantles, and it just went on and on and on and on and on. I ended up doing 3 tours with Ian Moss. Solo, you know, just him and me in a car and going to country and stomp boxing and acoustic, and that was just awesome fun, great stuff. But anyway, I ended up having this accident, and it put me in hospital for quite a while, broken bits and pieces, and took me a while, but I realised that I suddenly couldn't work, and it would be a while before I could work, and I was going to get a payout, but that was going to take quite a while. So somebody mentioned to me about Support Act, and I was like, oh no, I can't do that. I can't, you know. Oh no. And eventually my wife sort of went, we got to do something because things aren't great. Met up with on the phone. We never actually spoke really face to face, but Lindy Morrison, who's a drummer from the Go-Betweens, was running the show, took us on personally, and saved our ass basically. I could send her my bills month to month, and they would just magically get paid. And we were just struggling away on a pension. My wife couldn't work, obviously, because I was hopping around. I had one leg and one arm. And so, they were great. So much support. You could rely on them, you know. It was like, and then in the end, I'd done the thing, got my payout, so I paid them back.
Yep.
everything, right?
Wow.
I went, look, I've got this huge amount of money. You gave me this much there. And they went, well, you've still got a year left on your contract. I went, what do you mean? Oh, we can still help you for another year. What do you need? I went, well, could probably do with 2 tyres on the car or something. Yeah, go on, get it done, send us the bill. So, look, they were just amazing. It just was, it gets me a bit misty because it was an emotional time, you know. We're really struggling. And
to have someone that was willing to help.
Definitely. And just because I was a roadie, you know, it was like, wow.
And that's why it was set up.
Yes, exactly that.
For
musos,
road crew musos who, there's no super in our industry, there's no, you know, no long service leave or anything like that. You know, otherwise we'd all be on holiday.
Exactly. No, look, it was a game saver.
So I can't talk, you know, highly enough of Support Act.
No, mate.
And obviously John Pekovic, who's a great friend of ours. You know, he sort of started up the West Australian branch of that as well. And we did a walk last year.
We did Ready for Roadies, or Roadie for Roadies, whatever you call it.
Still wear the T-shirt. And we all, you know, give what we can because it's a great
It is a great cause, and if you can support it in any way, I can only encourage it because it's an amazing thing, and they've helped so many people.
So if there are musicians out there or roadies or lighting people or technicians or anyone that do need help, because there are a lot of people struggling at the moment, get in touch with Support Act because
they're
if
there
anyone
to
can
help.
They can help.
They really are. Yeah, for sure.
Cool. So name me some roadies we should interview.
Well, look, the guys, as I said before, the guys that I learnt off that are still around, Steve Crosby was great. He was always patient, and then when I was learning, when we brought Graphic back to Perth after Gerald, and we did some gigs with the Rave, and
the Rave.
Steve was doing that at that point.
Oh, mate, Greg McKay.
Yeah, exactly, and Greg and I went on to do What a Life.
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly, Over Zero later on. Yeah, he's a great bloke, great drummer. So, yeah, look, you know, yeah. Good.
So, do you miss anything about the industry? Like, it's obviously changed. Is there something from before that you miss?
I guess that camaraderie, as we said, that Roadie for Roadies Day was a classic example. There was probably 100 crew guys there. Yeah. I probably knew 10, 15 of them, of old school crew. But these are the guys, and I was sort of saying, who are these? Well, you know, there's CCP guys there, you know, all these, they're crew guys, but they're from a different, you know, we were saying, well, could these guys do anything other than push boxes? Could they tune a guitar? Could they set up a drum kit? Could they tune a PA? Probably not, but they're not there for that, you know. They're gone back to what was, you're a sound guy, or you're a loader, or you're a rigger, or you're an operator.
In the old days, if you like to call them the old days, you were flying by the seat of your pants.
Definitely, you had to do everything.
You had to replace a guitar string on the side of the stage.
Exactly. Whilst doing monitors, whilst doing a half a dozen other things. And be able to pull a stage down and drive a truck and do all that at the end of the night. Yeah, for sure.
So, do you have a best PA? A PA? What's the best equipment you think, in your opinion?
Look, from the stuff I used, I'm stuck at the moment because I mainly do stuff at the Charles and a few other sort of satellite gigs. So these days, it is what it is. I don't even know half the time what I'm using. I did some Kings Park shows with Shorrock supporting the Beach Boys, and I had no idea, what are they? Oh, VDOS something. Means nothing to me. You know,
sounded all right.
Yeah, it sounded great. It sounded awesome, you know. So, you know, you have to be up with that sort of thing, and I'm not anymore. Technology got too technologically advanced for, you know, for itself. Technology for technology's sake.
Let's move sideways a bit. Okay. First album you bought. Can you remember?
Well, that was easy because a friend of mine and I went halves in Slade Alive.
Oh, Noddy Holder.
Yeah, Noddy Holder. yeah. And we went halves, I think it was $1.50 each or $2 each or something. We went halves and played Slade Alive till it was just about worn out.
Had any other jobs throughout your life apart from crayfishing?
God, yes. I started life as an apprentice electroplater, and that was the most horribly chemically charged job you can imagine. Chrome, nickel, copper vats full of bubbling chemicals and doing bumper bars and shopping trolleys. Sorry. And then a friend of mine said, look, my dad needs a deckhand for the next cray season. Why don't you come up and do that? So I did, and that was great. And I went to the Abrolhos Islands and did some seasons there, and came back to Dongara and did another one. But in the interim, I've built swimming pools. I've delivered milk, delivered small goods. Yeah, all sorts of things. Whatever you can do with a truck and a van, really.
Cool.
Yeah.
You've always been a hard worker.
Yeah, because the gigs are often a long way apart.
And you're a family man.
I'm a family man. So I have 4 children and 5 grandchildren, and back in the day...
You're way in front of me.
Wow,
And how long you been married? Your wife...
Currently?
Yeah.
We've been together 33 years, but I was married prior to that. And I've got 2 kids from that marriage and 2 from current marriage, and 5 grandchildren collectively.
Everyone gets on? And
Oh, yeah, we're all moving along. Yeah, it's all good.
Good.
Yep,
Cool.
yep, no drama there.
Okay, we'll move on from that. Favourite band of all time?
Oh, Pink Floyd, without a doubt.
Great choice.
I recently last year, my son took me. He paid me for me to go and see the Roger Waters show at the arena.
I was there.
And
it just blew me away.
Me too. And I'd seen the one at the Dome that he did with the wall.
Yep.
I'd seen that and just went.
But this one was just...
That stuff that dropped out of the ceiling.
Oh,
the
wasn't it
sound
insane?
was perfect. It was, you had the pig flying around the room. You had the moon flying around the room. You had this laser pyramid. And on stage was just a ramshackle bunch of guys with some old gear.
It's probably the most impressive concert I've been to.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
And the sound was just, wherever you sat.
Yeah, it was unreal.
Hello.
Yeah.
So, I can't go past that.
Yeah, cool.
As far as
we
I've
agree
seen
on
a lot.
something.
I mean, the first gig I ever saw at the Entertainment Centre was Sweet.
Yeah.
And I was so impressed because they had so many lights and they were so loud. And I was only 15 or 16. And they're doing the Fox on the Run tour. And I was like, wow, look at that. Wow.
That's what music does to people, doesn't it?
It really
just
does.
moves you to another place, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, man. It still does.
So if you were stranded on a deserted island and you could only take one album with you, what album would that be? Apart from Dark Side of the Moon.
Well, I'd say it'd have to be a live album.
Yep.
It would have to be Rush, Exit Stage Left, Journey Captured Live.
Journey, what a great band.
See?
Yeah. We can only take one.
But it'd have to be The Pulse, Pink Floyd The Pulse,
Okay.
the double live set.
No worries.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel your passion, brother.
Yeah, it's there, believe me.
So, your favourite TV show growing up?
See, I really liked Green Acres and Petticoat
Perfect.
Junction. I mean,
perfect.
just because they were so loose. Arnold
Yes.
Ziffer with the pig and Zsa Zsa Gabor.
Yeah, perfect.
Or Eva Gabor, whichever one it was. They were so funny, and it was so loose and off the cuff, it was out there.
Yeah.
F Troop, the usual offenders.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Usual
for sure.
offenders.
Yeah.
So, do you watch this show at all?
Of course.
Yeah, so you see the...
Mate,
people,
like I said,
a lot of
it's like
F-troops.
my CV, this whole series of the profile, the guys, I used to work with him and him, and him and her, and yeah. So the Perth music scene's pretty tight.
Yeah. So do you have any unfulfilled ambitions? It's okay.
Unfulfilled ambitions? Well, I always like to mix something that I can really get my teeth into, and it happened recently with that Pink Floyd show at the Civic. They were really good.
Yeah.
And it was like, wow, I really...
So you did that?
I did that.
We couldn't turn up that night because Jackie's father passed away.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
And I wasn't prepared for it to be that good. I only went down because they asked me.
Well, you've got, Karina, Cass, Kay Jane.
She nailed it all.
I mean, she used to play bass in Disco Inferno and then watch her play guitar. And I'm so jealous because he's my favourite guitar player, Dave Gilmore.
Yes. Happy
Would love
Gilmore.
to have
My
that gig.
goodness, mate.
Love to have that gig.
Yes, she
if you need
nailed
to
it.
fill in.
And the whole band. And they did the Great Gig in the Sky.
Yeah.
Those 2 girls.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So, do you collect anything, Bob?
By default, I collect desk tapes from when I first started mixing. So if I've ever mixed a band that you were in, I've probably recorded it, and it's in a big box at home.
Yeah.
It's about 100 little cassettes with various.
So do you know that Procopy can turn all of those desk tapes
I
into
do know that, Gary.
digital
because
format now? Is
I
that
do.
right, Mark?
It is, because Mark has recently done my whole family's archives of Super 8 movies.
Oh, wow.
From when I was born to... My dad had a little wind-up Bell and Howell camera
Wow.
and filmed everything from when they first got here, I think, in 53, my folks. And
Where they from?
they're from Holland.
Yeah.
My mum's Dutch. My dad was born in Indonesia, but that was run by the Dutch in those days.
Yeah.
And he went to Holland after the war, after being in a POW camp, and met my mum, and they came out here in 53. And so, and I'd never seen a lot of this footage because my grandparents had it. And my dad gave me this box and said, there you go.
Wow.
So I took them up here, Mark digitised them all for me, put it on a hard drive, and I went home and went, my goodness, I have never seen any of this.
Wow.
So, my brother and 2 older sisters.
Wow. Fantastic.
Yeah.
So if you have anything you'd like digitised,
please
come to ProCopy. Call Mark, go online, Enterprise Drive in Malaga here, this is where the set is. Well, Jackie walked in here for her father's funeral music and all that, and she came home and she said, wow, the set is so small. I mean, when I see it, I imagine, this thing, and I look, is that where you do it?
Exactly
so,
what it is. I've seen 102 episodes,
yes.
and here I am.
So, what would you put on your gravestone, Bob?
Here for a good time, not a long time. No, I'd say only rock and roll, but I like it.
Yeah. Cool.
That sums it up for me.
Yeah.
It's music, and I love it, and people pay me to go and do what I do. So, and I still can't believe that. So, I'm smiling all the way.
You're a lucky man.
I am. I'm blessed.
So, what is your pet hate about musicians? Do you have a pet hate? There must be something.
Look, there's some people that have overinflated egos that probably shouldn't have that, really.
Are you looking anywhere in the room in particular?
No, not really, mate. No, and that annoys me.
Yeah.
And there are some, I won't name names, but there are some. No, there are some.
Do you come across that a lot, or?
No, thankfully.
Yeah.
Since we've been in the growing up era, people that have been in long enough to know whether they're shit or not, and whether they're going to pump themselves up or not. It annoys me that if they follow up with the goods, then okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
I've worked with people that weren't the nicest to get on with, but certainly performed. And
that's hard to understand. I mean, if you're there to help and to do a job, as a musician, the last person you want to annoy is the lighting person, the sound person, the person who's pouring the drinks, the person who's rolling the joints. You don't upset any of those people.
No, don't do that. No, and a lot of people had to do that the hard way. But look, we are what we are, and like I say, if we weren't there, what would you do?
Yeah.
You'd be the side stage mix like the old days, and hope that you're being projected out to the people. But
it's like we do duos now, and it's like you can just quickly walk out, because you're mixing yourself.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Sound like crap and not even know it.
There you go. And people that use effects pedals. Especially vocalists. Especially vocalists. I meant guitar players, obviously, you have to. But vocalists that come on, I've got my own pedal. And what's it do? I do my own harmonies, I can do delays, I can do reverb. As long as you remember to turn it off between songs, it's great. But serial offenders there sometimes. Goodness me. Guitar players that are too loud are really annoying. That's my sound, man. I have to run my Marshall at that level because it's where the tone is. And you go, well, guess what? It's parting my hair out at front of house. So
I've probably been guilty of that a couple of times, but I'm starting to pull my head in a bit, I think. So.
Never been an issue with me, guys.
Yeah,
Mechanics, you were a bit loud in the olden days.
Thanks, Bob. I'll give you the 50 later.
Yeah, but you're allowed to be,
I was just loud. I don't care about anyone else.
On you band.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember it well.
Yeah, it's horrible. Yeah. Really. But anyway.
We had to start somewhere, mate.
How to win friends and influence people.
See, there you go.
So, Bob, absolute pleasure to listen to all the names. Have you got any particular story that sticks out, or something you want to share that we don't know about you before we finish this?
Well, as I was saying to Phil earlier.
Sorry? And who else what?
Oh, look, you've got to get Steve Cross You've got to get
I've already
Cosy.
asked that question.
Yeah, no, you've got to get Pete Cosgrove because
Pete.
he's a legend.
Absolutely.
And sound guys, Benny Galazza, you've got to get, because I learnt so much from Ben, and he would never have known because I was lingering around and looking at what he was doing and how he was patching racks, and because Ben's, methodic about how he does stuff. And not that I ever said, "Why are you doing that?" I would just watch and go.
Pete, yeah.
And he would have told me in 10 words, this is what's happening. But I was like, I can see that. That works, that works, that works.
Yeah.
Guys like Rick Vanderveld, if you've got a couple of hours for your interview, by all means, get Rick in.
Well, we're just about to do Mark Whitehouse. We're going to, like, a 12-hour reel, I think, for that one. But
And Chris White as well. You've got to get Whitey in.
Yeah,
That guy's just been there, done that, and got the T-shirt, And Brett Lyons, Tony Lyons, those guys that came across with the dice and stuff, in the old days.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've all done it, and Brett took over from me when I left Trilogy. In '84, he took over then and did the second part of Trilogy, Saracen. And he, after I had my accident doing John Starr's work, Brett took over.
Yeah.
And there's someone else.
You're all a family, aren't you?
Exactly. John Starr's been great to me as well. Through the backstage bar days. Way back then, 2004, I got a call. I was working at AVI doing invoices and boring audio-visual stuff. John Starr rings me up, says, "Mental's anything at the Civic tonight, can you do it?" Sure. Please. Got in, did that, and it just rolled from there.
You live and breathe it, don't you?
Yeah, definitely.
And that's what's great about it.
It has to be the music. It has to be the music. I can do so many jobs to do with the industry that aren't to do with music.
I remember when we were on tour with Hooker in Sydney, and Pete Cosgrove, we had the massive truck with all the road crew and all that. Everyone dropped the trip at the Mansell room, and there was 9 of us to get home, and there was just the truck. So there was 9 of us crawled in the truck, and Pete Cosgrove said, he goes, "I can't drive," so I drove. And I remember going through Wallara and all the tree tops going off the, but just times that things you never forget.
Well, in Sydney, we because we had Perth licence plates on our truck, they didn't like that. Local crews did not like that. So Tomo and I went off to do something one night in the truck, going down the freeway. Wow! Someone had loosened the wheel nuts.
Wow, fantastic.
On the truck.
Great.
Coming out of the Coleman Cutter in Blacktown one night, did the load out, started the truck, it was running like a bucket of bolts. Someone had reached in behind the cab and pulled 3 of our spark plug leads out.
Fantastic.
On the D-Series Ford, It's like, welcome to Sydney. We're getting these gigs and, and we're doing...
Well, I remember doing supports for Australian Crawl, all those bands, and the PA was only allowed to go so loud, and you were only allowed 6 cans out of 700 cans on stage. You were allowed these 6, and
we were doing supports for a band called Heaven, sort of a heavy rock band.
I remember.
Only Saracen were doing really well, and people liked them. And they didn't like the fact that the support band was doing really well. So consequently, halfway through the mix, my volume would just... They were turning the amps down on us because we were doing well.
Crazy, yeah?
Hard, very hard.
Wonderful in Australia. So look, don't forget to subscribe to the profile on YouTube. Please like our videos, comment, let us know who you think we should interview. Bob's obviously told us who he thinks we should interview, and we'll follow that up, or the producer will. So wonderful to have you here, mate.
Mate, it's
You've
a pleasure.
been a friend for a long time.
To be here, It's
I think you've got a great name in the industry, and everyone's thankful that you've been around, Bob.
Well, I'm thankful that they've been around to hire me, mate, because people keep giving me work. So I'm blessed. Truly
Thank you
blessed.
so much for coming in.
Thank you,
and
mate.
sharing your
Appreciate
life
it.
with us. That's it for this week on the profile. We'll see you next week. Thank you.
At ProCopy, we can transfer audio to CD, make CD, DVD and Blu-ray copies, transfer video to DVD, Blu-ray or HD. digitise slides and photos, and supply custom USBs. You can see more details at procopy.com.au or call us on 089375 3902 for more information.